On today's show,
will Danny Ainge and the Celtics regret standing pat at the trade deadline? And did the Raptors do enough to challenge the Cavs?
up down on the Kings being better without Boogie, Indy moving on from Paul George, and Ben Simmons being shut down.
And Tass picks a worst of the week winner, even though he had a better one 2 days ago.
It's Friday, February 24th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters. Whether you're joining us live right now on NBA TV or a little bit later on YouTube, we're very, very happy to have you. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Guy Fieri was on our show 5 days ago. Can you believe it?
Two is right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lele.
And last, certainly not least, over there, it is the bearded one. It's Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey, yo! TK, what do you got, man?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters. And guys, the internet has a way of taking something ridiculous and making it even funnier. And that's exactly what happened when Redditor Deer on the Rocks got a hold of some cheesy all-star promos. Take a look. Big smiles and the Full House theme song, always a perfect combination, and it brings us to today's question. Which NBA player would be the best sitcom dad? We get this kind of question often on our podcast, The Drop, and I always go with Pau Gasol because he always keeps things so positive. I mean, just look at his tweets, whether he's going to an opera or hugging a Christmas tree or recovering from hand surgery. The guy always keeps things super pos and very family friendly, just like the best sitcom dads. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter which NBA player would be the best sitcom dad. Send us your best tweets to #TheStarters, and we'll hear from you later.
All right.
Super pause.
Super pos.
Pau looks like he has a super paw right there.
Good stuff. All right, we got a fun Friday show for you where we'll actually debate whether or not the Pacers should start looking to move Paul George in the up-down report, and TAS Awards, the dishonor for worst of the week, as it usually does on Friday. But first, we start with a little true or false. It's been a while. It's a simple game. Trey's got a question for us, a statement, I guess, really. And we either say true or we say false, and hopefully we debate a little bit here. TK, first one.
Makes a lot of sense. The Boston Celtics currently second in the Eastern Conference. They've got a bunch of desirable young players and a gaggle of high draft picks, but they didn't pull the trigger on any trades yesterday, let alone one that would have landed on Paul George or Jimmy Butler. Guys, true or false? The Celtics will regret standing pat.
Ooh.
I say false.
Okay.
Because they're not trying to beat LeBron once this year, maybe because they're having an off year, because there's a lot of injuries. They're trying to be the best team for a decade when LeBron is gone or LeBron is past his prime. Just like Danny Ainge's Celtics were in the 80s. This doesn't mean that they're not going to trade for Paul George or Jimmy Butler 4 months from now, so there's still that possibility. But Danny's looking long-term. Short-term, long-term, he's doing all the terms.
I'll say true because if you get a chance to get a guy, an all-star, all-NBA player, you should try to do that. Because last year the Celtics, remember, lost to the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs, and the Atlanta Hawks went on to get swept by LeBron James and the Cavs. Now, the Celtics are a better team than they were last year, no doubt about that. But the one question we've always had about the Celtics recently is they don't have that super-duper star. They have some very, very, very good players. But if you can add a player like a Paul George or a Jimmy Butler into that team...
You think both of those guys are super-duper stars?
I do, yes,
You do.
absolutely.
Top
I mean, they're
15 easily.
Yeah, easily, yeah. All NBA players, two-way players as well. That's
Yep.
what's really important. You're not just getting a guy who can fill it up at one end and then concede a lot of baskets at the other end. Both of them are very, very good defenders. Now, they don't necessarily address the main need for the Celtics as far as defense and rebounding, a big guy. But again, when you have a superstar player, you get that guy and you'll worry about the details after it.
So let me say this to you. If you were Danny Ainge and let's just say Paul George, for the sake of argument, or Jimmy Butler, it doesn't really matter. We come to you, we say we want the Nets 2017 first-round pick. That's going to be top 4, might be top 1. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and then either Avery Bradley or Jay Crowder. We want one of those guys too. We want one of your solid pieces. You say...
I say do it.
You say do it.
Go for it, yeah.
But back to Tass's point, what's the hurry?
Well, the hurry is...
What's the hurry here? I sort of applaud their patience in a way because, in theory, Butler or Paul George could still be there.
Yeah.
Come draft night, a little bit later, those teams could be looking to move those guys. And usually every day that passes, I mean, the Bulls and the Pacers, their leverage is a little weaker.
Sometimes
They're a little
you can-
weaker. So the flip side is the Celtics are in a little better position.
Sometimes you can't afford to be patient. You've got to go for it when you get the opportunity. Because let's say next year Isaiah Thomas decides to go somewhere else. Let's say he gets a bigger offer and he goes. This is sometimes the window for a championship opportunity is very, very small. So you sometimes have to just go all in and see what you can do and see if you can pull it off this year. This might be a good time to get the Cavaliers too. We know JR's out. Kevin Love's going to come back just before the playoffs. LeBron's been to 6 finals in a row, going for 7. At some point, you figure fatigue may catch up there. There might be an opportunity this year just to pounce on the Cavs while they've got a few issues and a few injury problems.
But I think Danny sits back and he says, we are so young. We've got so much time. Why trade 2, 3, who knows how many of those parts were on the table of our young guys for the potential of, smacking around for one time. And
Al Horford is not young, though.
No,
If
he is the one
part
guy.
of your big 3 that you're trying to build
Isaiah
there.
Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is 28 years old. There's a little bit of a win now vibe for the Celtics.
And remember the Oklahoma City Thunder when they went to the finals and Kevin Durant was said, hey, you didn't win it this year, but you know what? You guys are young. You're going to be back every year.
Yeah.
They never made it back. Sometimes you just have to decide, now's our opportunity, let's go for it.
You brought up that point that they lost to the Hawks in the first round last year, and the Celtics were pretty banged up in that series. But I do think if they did win that series, because Danny Ainge, has been around this game for a long time, he's a traditionalist, he knows that you got to win one series to then the next year win another series. Maybe if they win that series, maybe they make this move.
Yeah.
Maybe they start to think, we gotta speed this up a little bit, or we're ready to take that next step and meet LeBron in the conference
They
finals.
will, look, we're not Doc Brown. We don't have the DeLorean here. We can't jump into the future. But they will regret it if they don't eventually get a Jimmy Butler or a Paul George or Gordon Hayward doesn't sign there.
Yeah,
if they don't,
yeah.
in the future, use these assets or sign a big name and get a big piece, then I think you look back and go, they probably should have made that move there on the trade deadline.
We didn't mention that, yes, they have max salary cap room. They can just go and say, hey, Gordon Hayward, come on over. And literally just sign a guy if he wants to come.
But the Jazz of us can offer him more money.
For sure.
And that's what they're up against.
All right, Trey, next one.
All right, on the other end of the spectrum, y'all's Toronto Raptors were quite active during trade season, getting the 4-man they've needed for years in Serge Ibaka from the Magic, and the big wing defender that they've needed for years in PJ Tucker from the Suns. True or false, the Raps acquired enough pieces to challenge the Cavs?
The Cavs are still the favorite for one reason. The Raptors just aren't that great right now. Regardless of Serge Ibaka and PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry is hurt. There's only 25 games left to get these guys acclimated. I don't think that's enough to knock off the Cavs. They just aren't that same 56-win team that they were last year.
Right.
You're going to want to rest Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan down the stretch because they're tired. That means less games to get acclimated with these new parts. I think people forget, going into the playoffs last year, they almost got knocked off by the Pacers. They almost got knocked off by the Heat. They very easily could have been gone golfing in round 1. So I think people pumped them up a little bit more than they actually are at that level.
But that all said, these are two
I love
great
the acquisitions.
Great moves.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would go true on this if you added the word, Raptors acquired realistic pieces to challenge. And I would sort of underline challenge because that does not mean beat, but challenge the Cavs. And then I would add without mortgaging their future. So Masai Ujiri did what he could. His team was struggling with defense, so he went out and got 2 defensive pieces, massive upgrade, especially at one position where they've been trying to find anyone that they could. They had a rookie there playing half the year in Pascal Siakam there at the power forward position. So you got Ibaka, you got PJ Tucker. He's done his job. Now it's up to the Raptors players and that team, and obviously Coach Casey, to do their job and try and get back to a conference finals and maybe take down the Cavaliers. I don't think ultimately they would do it in a 7-game series. I'm still not betting against LeBron James. If LeBron is healthy, I don't care who's around him, especially in the East. But you have to applaud Ujiri for these moves, because all it took was Terrence Ross, Jared Sullinger, and then 3 total picks to get 2 really solid veteran defensive-minded guys.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I said true as well, because to challenge, yes. To beat the Cavs, no. And it would have taken maybe a Paul George or a Jimmy Butler going to the Raptors, which they weren't ever going to really get. So Ujiri went out and just bolstered his lineup. He got some reinforcements there. Good, solid defensive, experienced veteran players. That should help the Raptors, but again, we know that it takes more than that to beat Cleveland.
Yeah, you're a Raps fan. Wouldn't you be much more upset if the Raps had they stood pat and did nothing here
Yeah.
after going 11-16 over their last 25 or so 26. I mean,
That's-
I would be way more upset if he did nothing.
Masai has made the boldest moves he's ever made, and I think they're both strong moves.
Right.
That being said, these moves aren't just for this year. They're going to try and keep these guys around
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they are on pace for a 47-48 win season. They haven't been incredible.
Right.
Kyle Lowry is now injured. Again, only
Yeah, that's
25 games
crazy.
left
Not
to
playing
get
tonight.
Yeah, with a wrist injury, and it might be worse than day to day, according to reports. There's only 25 games left, so I don't think that bodes well for a team to knock off the champs.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, hey, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. This must give them a couple more wins. Well, they haven't been as good as that Eastern Conference Finals team.
For sure. All right, Trey, quickly, last one.
All right, both Nerlens Noel and Jahlil Okafor were in trade rumors all season long, but yesterday, after seeming like it was Okafor they really wanted to move, the 76ers traded Nerlens Noel to the Mavs for Justin Anderson, Andrew Bogut, and a pick. True or false? The Sixers traded the wrong center.
True.
True.
Absolutely true.
Well, I'll
they
say
did. They played themselves. Colangelo played himself here.
Yeah, well, I'll say false because they traded the one they could trade. I don't think they could trade Okafor in the end. They got to the point where it was like they had trades on the table and eventually the other teams pulled back.
Two weeks ago, they were telling Okafor to stay home
I know.
because he was going to be traded.
And that's
so
the
what
thing.
happened?
Exactly what happened. They couldn't trade him in the end.
Well, they're both going to
Well,
be
they got
gone
two grand.
eventually. Jahlil Okafor is going to be gone, but Nerlens Noel had to go now because they didn't want to pay him this offseason, while Okafor is signed through next year. So eventually he's going to be traded. He's not going to be a Sixer for life. Joel Embiid's going to be playing in front of him. He's going to be gone at some point. I think, the package isn't sexy what they got back from the Mavs, from where we're sitting, but that's probably all they could get, and they didn't want to pay him. So
That's what surprised me, though, is that was all they could get for Noel. If that was Okafor, I could probably understand it
Yeah.
because
It's
Okafor has
surprising,
struggled.
for
But
sure.
Noel has been better this year, and I thought there's probably more out there for him.
All right,
Wasn't the case.
lots more still to come on the starters tonight when we come back. Paul George, he is still a Pacer, but for how long? We're going to debate what Indianapolis should do with Paul George and more in the Up Down Report. Indianapolis. Who said that the other day? Got me saying it now.
Indianapolis Pacers.
Back with the starters, right into the Up Down Report, where we figure out where the four of us stand on some hot button NBA topics. Ask you do the same on Twitter. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, first one, guys. DeMarcus Cousins. Who needs him? Apparently not the Kings. In their first game without Boogie, Sacramento used a team effort to pull off the 116-100 victory over the Nuggets last night. 6 players scored in double figures, including rookie Buddy Hield and veteran Tyreek Evans, who just joined the Kings. So I'm going to try and ask this with a straight face. Are you up or down on the Kings actually improving without Boogie? It's the Ewing theory. No one's going to buy into the
Boogie
Ewing theory?
theory.
nice.
No?
Way
I
to
mean,
do
last
it.
night was fun, but we see this often when we find out a player's going to be missing a game. Everybody else picks it up for that night, but eventually the lack of talent really
Yeah.
catches up to you. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Kings eventually. But they'll always have last night. Seeing Boogie get smashed with the Pelicans and getting a win over a team that they're chasing for a playoff spot.
That's a big win.
What a
Yeah.
nice night
Yeah.
for them.
That is a big
I mean,
one.
it's probably good for these other players that this distraction is now finally over and they can get out there and things are a bit looser. They don't have to worry about Boogie exploding or getting a tech foul or commanding all the ball. So it does give other guys opportunities. But as you mentioned, in the long run, the lack of depth will catch up to them.
Not much more to add.
Not much more to that. Moving on then.
Took the thumb off and everything.
While the
thumbs are off.
future of Paul George wasn't decided at the deadline yesterday, his preference of options became maybe a little clearer. According to reports, PG-13 will strongly consider signing with the Lakers in 2018 if the Pacers aren't title contenders. Now, Indy's obviously a few steps away from making that a reality, being a title contender. So are you guys up or down on the Pacers, seriously looking to trade Paul George in the immediate future? I'm thumbs up.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm still down. As I mentioned in the last segment, if you're the Celtics and you have an opportunity to get him, you go for it. But if you're the Pacers, I think you hold off.
Why? He just told. Again, these are reports,
Yeah.
but he's saying if you don't get me help and we're not, contending for a title, I'm out of here.
He's got one more chance, Larry Bird, and that's in the summer. Sign a free agent, maybe make a trade, whatever. See if you can get a big name to come and join him. You've got a draft pick out there. I don't give up just yet. He's still got
Wow.
technically 2 years left on that deal.
Indiana doesn't have the greatest track record of
Yeah.
signing big name free
Agree.
agents.
I agree. I mean, it's going to be hard. There's no doubt about it. But I wouldn't give up just yet. I would keep him because in my
But as you move on and on and on, as we talked about
I know.
earlier in the show, it's like you're only hurting yourself.
I
here.
know, but this is not like the DeMarcus situation where he was fighting with the front office as openly and he had disciplinary
get
problems.
that.
I mean, Paul George is a superstar player, and with maybe 2 years left on that deal because he's got a player option for that last year, don't give up on him just yet. See if you can figure it out. You haven't done a great job so far. You've got one more chance.
You were doing this. You were doing this. What does this mean?
Yeah, the answer to me is off-season chats with Larry Bird. The benefit of having such a powerful GM is that he carries some weight. When he walks into the room and he has a conversation with a superstar, I think he can ask him, hey, do you want to leave? Because I'll trade you if that's the case.
Okay.
I think that's where the answer comes. Yeah, they have to have a man-to-man conversation. And just like Magic carries a lot of weight now with the Lakers, Larry Bird carries the same amount of weight. So I think he'll get a clear, sincere answer if he asks Paul George in the offseason.
The only problem with that is agents are involved in these negotiations. And I bring that up because if Paul George makes All-NBA, he has the possibility to have that supermax deal that Cousins, in theory, was in play for with the Kings if he had stayed with the Kings. Now it's off the table. But the supermax deal getting 35%, I mean, massive, massive, massive amounts of money. If he makes All-NBA, and Paul George may not because there's so many talented forwards, that's where it's like they will want him to sort of sign that. We'll go from there. We'll take that, what would end up being like $40 million more.
Yeah.
That's sort of what sort of clouds this, but I think you move him. I think you could get a great package back.
Even if
I don't think he's staying.
Even if you do sign him for max, I mean, you can trade him for a package afterwards, right?
For sure. All right, final one, guys. This sucks. Ben Simmons has been ruled out for the remainder of his rookie season after tests revealed that his broken right foot has not fully healed. 76ers GM Brian Colangelo said that Simmons is heartbroken over the news and that the number 1 overall pick he wants to play. Again, bit of a bummer here, but are you up or down on the 76ers officially shutting down Simmons for the rest of the season?
Don't really have a choice by the sounds of it. I mean, if he's not healthy, there's no point going out there and perhaps risking further damage. I would have liked to, I think we talked about this earlier in the season, just see him get any NBA experience. Yeah. But if the doctors are saying, listen, it's probably best not to, then I don't really see any option for the Sixers.
I mean, who's going to put their thumb down?
I'm down on him not playing,
right.
and we're not seeing him, I guess.
It's very Sixer-like recently, right?
I think, he's going to play point guard, so I forget this. This guy's a big dude.
Yeah.
This guy's 6'10", 240, 250. That's a big guy. Any sort of foot, knee issues, you need to be totally cautious with it. What is the rush? You still, despite this great Sixers run over the last couple of weeks there, and I know it's sort of faltered since the bead went out again, but you're not winning the championship this year.
You can't let
You're
a foot heal too much.
No.
Especially for a 20-year-old who's a big guy. Maybe take your time, do it right, like the SOS band says.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job of getting guys healthy, right? For all the killing them in the last couple of years, guys have come back healthy.
An SOS band reference.
Baby, take your time, do it right, we can do it.
We asked you guys which NBA player besides Paul Gasol would be the best sitcom dad. You hit us up on Twitter, #TheStarters. Trey,
and it seems we might have actually reached a consensus. So many people tweeted this in, I didn't see it coming. I think Jason Smith would be great because of those moves. Big dancing Jason Smith, of course. And Jason Smith, he could dance on the show and embarrass his kids. And I mean, honestly, if you've seen Jason Smith dancing, these are some pretty dad moves.
Yeah, this is very.
Leg work.
Look at the guy just watching him.
Yeah, that would be the embarrassed son, I suppose. Oh man, Jason Smith dancing. I could watch
great
this all
choice.
day.
Good answer.
Right. Great stuff. Now's the point of the week where we hand out the dishonor to someone in the NBA family that has done wrong in the eyes of the starters. It's time for the worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
This week's worst of the week are the Sacramento Kings. It was a bad year last year for the Kings, tumultuous, but this year in comparison has been quite tame. But we had quite the scenario this past week. In return for a man averaging 28 points and almost 11 rebounds, the Kings received a very questionable package. Not one surefire star. DeMarcus Cousins was dealt 4. Package centerpiece, rookie Buddy Hield, vet Tyreek Evans, role player Langston Galloway, a first-round pick, now projected at 9 but likely to fall into the teens, and a second-rounder. And that's everything. Kings owner Vivek Ranadive appears to be infatuated with Hield after missing out on him in the draft and very well could have influenced the trade. In Buddy's 2 games in Sacramento this season, Ranadive told him, quote, "We're still gonna get ya." Didn't want him enough to send a private plane, though. The Pelicans sent their owner's private jet to get Cousins and Henri Caspi, but Buddy healed, and the other new Kings arrived in Sacramento on a commercial flight. But it gets worse. GM Vlade Divac said he had a better deal on the table 2 days prior to pulling the trigger. Why didn't you wait another 3 days till the trade deadline, Vladdy?
Most likely we will get less because I had a better deal 2 days ago.
Than what you got now?
Yep.
Vladdy later clarified that the other team got cold feet, but you can't tell your fan base you made an inferior trade. Wow, what a sign. All this after ensuring Cousins he wouldn't be dealt at all the same day he was moved. The Sacramento Kings, they want that banner back. Your worst of the week. Thanks to Sean Cunningham from ABC 10 and Grant Napier for contributing to that report.
Good stuff. I thought we had already given worst of the year to the Knicks.
I think
but
so.
Here come the Kings! All right, we're going to take one more break. When we come back, Lily, the return of very solid play.
It's back, baby.
Last night's pick 'em results, Fire and Ice let me down. They let me down. I took the Pelicans. Boogie in his first game there in a New Orleans uniform. You guys picked up the win with the Rockets. Tonight, interesting stuff. Celtics Raps, 3 of us liking the Celtics. Tass, the only one taking the Raps. No Kyle Lowry
Right.
in this game. Interesting stuff there, interesting stuff. Lily, you watched every assist in the association last night.
I did, and this was the best one, a shame-worn leggy from LeBron. Look at that. Nice backdoor. Tristan doesn't finish it on the first go. That's okay. That's okay. Of all the assists, it was about 200. That was the nicest one. That's what I call
good.
a
Does his work,
very
man.
solid play.
Yeah, it's all right. On today's Drop podcast, we discussed yesterday's trades, of course, in great detail. We talked about how to fix maybe the All-Star game, if that's possible. And, well, Trey talked a little Twitter.
If you had to change your Twitter bio, what would you change it to?
I'm super due for an update. Mine currently says shout out to Vlade Divac. Not the best timing. I'm changing it to once fist bump Guy Fieri.
Yeah,
And then it'll be my pinned tweet. So you look down and you're like, yep, that
you
happened.
Happened.
Best buds.
Longtime fan of the show, Abby Walters sent in this fan sign, but it's really just for Trey. It's a special birthday fan sign. She got the Dinkers and Dumpers shirt on there. What a
Wow,
great sign.
Much
Out of game.
appreciated.
It's just fantastic stuff. And Sterling and Chris with legend John Lucas last night in New Orleans for the Rockets Pelicans
That's
game.
a great sign.
Yeah, and
It's
beautiful.
a nice big sign.
Yeah,
It's bigly.
Photo well taken. Now we're going out to Dubai for fan of the show, not my buddy Grish. It's Hussam wearing a very solid t-shirt.
You're
Great
telling me we have more than one person in Dubai.
Exactly,
Who
yeah.
was a fan of the starters. We got my buddy Grish and this guy.
They must know each other. They must.
You think so?
They have to.
Dubai is very tiny.
Yeah, I'm sure Grish wears around his t-shirt as well, doesn't he? They're probably going to bump into each other.
That's true. All right, guys. Thank you so much for
Hope
joining
they
us tonight.
fist bump each other out there.
We will be back on Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see you then. Have a great
All
weekend.
right. Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, some jokes are so funny, they even make Kawhi Leonard laugh.
Race the weekend, people.